Casey.
Shane.
I missed you.
You did?
Feels like some time since we've last spoke. As people may...
It's been a while.
It's been a while. As people may or may not know, you and I do not speak unless we are recording on microphones.
Yep, just so we have enough crunchy zest to give out to those out there who listen to us in the hundreds.
There are literally dozens of you.
I would say hundreds.
On a little bit of bookkeeping on that, if you enjoy us on YouTube, and we have been seeing a little uptick in comments lately, and we really appreciate that. Last week, we had the homie Austin on, and we gave our second part, his opinion on whether or not Primarchs should be in 40K. He, of course, said no, go back and listen to it, but we also read a lovely comment from one of the viewers, and then he got back and commented that he appreciated that, so it's love and affection coming in both directions, which is the best way to have it, because you're not supposed to, as I understand, give your love to people that don't want it.
Exactly.
That
we're part of this community. If
that
we don't engage
is a
with
crime.
The yeah, it's a crime. If we don't engage with the community, I mean, we're not really a part of it, are we? So.
I suppose. But anyhow, the YouTube videos are going to be coming out a day later. We're going to move them to Sunday because Monday. That's right. They're right now. They're on Sunday. We're going to move them to Monday because we want to catch more of your ears and eyeballs. Do you have any random things not Bitsbox related that you need to tell the people?
There's a new box release that just came out.
There are new boxes. That's our main topic today. We're going to talk about Christmas boxes. Last year we did it, and we had...
It's Orctober.
Yeah. Oh, it's our Orctober.
It's Orctober.
You have Orctober information?
There is Orctober information.
Let's do what will be a regular segment until the end of Orctober, our Orctober Orc segment.
So right now it is Orctober. It is Orctober the 9th. Games Workshop has officially christened it Orctober, and we have all said thank you. Well, so they've given us a little bit of something to make us happy. We just got a new box revealed to us with an update on what I would have said for years is the ugliest, stupidest looking orc models in the entire freaking range. The Orc Tank Bustas. Coming at you in a new Kill Team box with rattling snipers. They look good, man.
The new rattlings are really cool.
They all look good.
They got a little sandwich one of them has next to him and stuff.
I don't even play guard, and I would buy this whole box and just keep all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So I saw somebody commenting on this orc box, and the guy was like, man, I don't like those orcs. They look super plain. They look like all the rest of the orcs. And he was referencing how the sort of monopose orcs, they all kind of have the one arm extended and the other arm up holding something usually. And I disagree with this person about that. And the reason I do,
because you have brain cells.
No, it's that, I mean, he's disagreeing because the orcs, in his opinion, could be so much more interesting. They could be so much more bombastic. Things like that. They could be so much more dynamic in their posing and their modeling, but they're not. And I counter that with this concept that I believe is what Games Workshop is doing on purpose. And that is that Ultramarines / Space Marines, just regular Space Marines, take your Sanguinary Guard and specialty units off, but just Space Marines and Orcs, I believe, are the McDonald's cheeseburger and fries of 40K. Right? So if I say to you McDonald's, you say Big Mac and fries or something, some variant of that, right?
I'm thinking pancakes.
See, that's not...
Dude, I don't even eat McDonald's.
I throw you up these lobs for you to hit?
I can't hit it, man. If I don't relate, I don't relate. I'm sorry, folks. I don't eat McDonald's.
I relate. Okay, what if I say Taco Bell? What do you think of?
Okay, there you go. When I think of Taco Bell, cheese quesadilla.
Something.
Maybe a Baja Blast. Lots of people drink Baja Blast.
All right.
I don't.
Well, the Orcs are very Baja Blasty, aren't they?
They're green. He's giving me the biggest eye roll, folks.
Doing this show with you, Casey, is like pulling teeths.
Oh, man.
Anyhow, but I think that the orcs are done in those sort of simple poses, those simple shapes on purpose. Because if you are only vaguely interested in 40K and you say, well, I don't know about these Space Marines, but what are these green guys?
Yeah.
And they are the first model you've ever seen. You don't want them to be a Catan shard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want them to be some sort of... you don't want them to be Tau.
Yes.
And if you've been playing for a while, you don't
yeah.
want them to be Tau. And if you've collected every army besides one,
because you're rich,
you should stop before you bother with Tau.
Exactly.
In the midst of Orctober, this has been our weekly Tau Hayden segment.
For real. My biggest beef is a couple years ago, they updated the Orc Commandos, which was a kit that I personally did not think needed an update. I think they looked fine as is. But I was like, if you're going to update anything, update these tank buses because they look ugly. They be ugly. So ugly. I hate those models so much.
Well, let me say, because I hear that a lot. People saying things like, man, I wish they hadn't done X and would have, and rather they did Y. Or if they're going to do X, they should have done Y. And that's a terrible way to think of stuff.
Well, it's because a lot of the orc range has recently been refreshed or is more modern. I don't want to say everything, but yeah, you can look at all these orc ranges and everything's pretty up to date. The only thing that were those really niche units like the tank buses and the commandos, the ones that people don't really run.
I mean, the boys looked terrible for the longest time.
They did. But still.
The commandos are one of the first 40K units I ever got because
you came in at 9th.
Well, yeah, I came in with a 9th and came in with that Kill Team starter box.
Yeah.
And that was cool. You know, and gosh, why did I even get that Kill Team starter box? I think I got it because...
You want to teach people Kill Team.
Yeah, that was why. It had the books and the stuff. And now I've got to find the new rules for Kill Team, which, by the way, all the rules for this new Kill Team version are on the website for all of the various factions and things. But not the core rules. They've got the light rules, which don't tell you any of the cover stuff or any of the terrain rules, which are kind of idle. And that part's been blowing my mind. I feel like, I mean, in every article I read, they're like, yeah, the rules are free online and they're going to be updated, yada, yada. I'm like, okay. So I know I got to get the mission deck because that requires some drawing, and I've already got it set to order. And I also have got the Universal Terrain pack on the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you have to have your Universal Terrain. The model matters. There's a new barricade thing that you can attach to and push around, and so I've got that coming. But I'm like, well, if I need to get a rule book, I'll get a rule book. But would you let me know if that's necessary? Because I'll forego the rule book if I'm going to get one online that is going to be eroded periodically.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And the quick rules are fine. I've played many games of Kill Team with them, but for a brand new version that I've never seen before, I would like to at least have a couple pass-throughs down in the nitty-gritty. So they need to come on with that. But anyway...
Hit the gritty.
Back to my point about, you know... I guess what I'm trying to say here is I like to try with whatever sway I have in all of y'all's mind to... assuage you from any angst and anger. And I always think that it is a silly thing to get mad when a new thing comes out because it's not the new thing that you wanted to come out.
It's a fair point.
Like, with everything that comes out, you're one thing closer to the thing that you want coming out. And sometimes, because we don't always get what we want, they bring out something totally new and unexpected, and we're all happy.
You know, I'm surprised.
Or we all should be happy.
This is surprisingly optimistic for you.
Well, I think you're looking at it at the wrong angle. I mean, it's optimistic on one hand because it's looking toward positivity. Also, I'm saying that all you people complaining on the internet are wrong, and you should think differently, more like me, because I'm the smartest person that you've ever heard.
Never wrong ever.
Open the bits box. Casey, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. What have you done in the bits box? Lately?
Boy. So I've been a little busy lately. I've been doing a lot of commissions. Been working on a lot of Blood Angels. Lots and lots and lots of Blood Angels.
Yours?
Mine as well as somebody else's. And it has been a labor of love.
Do you ever paint one of yours and go so full ball sack and then realize, oh no, that was supposed to be an ugly one for the commission job?
What's funny is a lot of these are going to end up doubles, so I'll just keep one and give the better one away, and then fix that one I keep.
Yeah, see, I would be having a method for my commission, and I would be having a method for my own.
And it's been a lot of fun. I'm getting a lot of really good models done. I'm getting them. They're very early in the stage, but hopefully we'll get a lot of stuff done. I am excited because I've been playing a lot of Space Marine 2 as well, and I maxed out my Assault class just yesterday, actually. I am a first captain, Assault, Blood Angels. Really dope. Love it. Jump pack, Thunderhammer. Hit him with the bonk.
Is that the online component of the game?
Yes, that is, yeah.
I still haven't bought Space Marine 2. It is on the list. I've been spending some time with the homie Austin, and the homie Austin has the sensibilities of an 85-year-old man. And so between his affection for old world and funky movies from the 70s, he also plays the train simulator. And so,
really?
Yes. So I finished the new Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. Loved it. It was great. It was a puzzle game, it turned out. It was a puzzle game hidden inside of an adventure game, and it was wonderful. I had a great time with it. I finished it last night, and then I set about learning how to drive trains on Train Simulator, and so Train Simulator has somehow taken the place of Space Marine 2 for the time being. And I don't know what that says about me. I mean, I know that I'm also 100 years old, but I will be getting Space Marine 2 eventually.
Coal for the coal throne. Steam for the steam throne. Yeah.
Pantograph for the electric boys.
And not really a 40K topic, but I did have a big achievement just happen. I recently went to Nashville and ran a Spartan Race. Ran the Sprint 5K, 20 obstacles, 5 kilometers. Been wanting to do that since I was 13, around the time when I started 40K. And your boy threw up like 3-4 times.
In a 5K?
Dude, 20 obstacles. Up and down hills, like through woods too, man. It was rough. I had a hard time.
Wow. How did you put any hot sauce on your knees and ankles doing this?
Dude, I wanted to put something on something to keep me going because I was just having a hard time. But my wife greeted me at the end of the finish line with a big old bag of Sour Patch Kids, and I just went to town.
So I predicted
6 months of training, 30 pounds down.
Right.
And I just ruined it right after the finish line.
Yeah, so that was my thing that I was going to say is I predicted to you that because you talk about your stuff pops and cracks and carries on all the time.
Battle scars, baby.
Battle scars. And I said, Casey, you've done so well getting your fitness somewhat right. You're feeling pretty good. Do you think it's wise to go jump around on all this stuff, likely incur some injuries? Is that going to derail you going forward? And what do you think is do we have a result now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sore. I was really tired afterwards. Honestly, I did on that last little bit right before the finish line, they make you jump over these logs that are on fire. And I straight up twisted my ankle when I landed.
So since the race, which is now how long ago?
Sunday. So today's Wednesday. So 3-4 days.
So 3-4 days, your activity level has been
pretty average. Just walking, really. No, I have not lifted. I have not exercised. I've taken it easy to get my body back. I've been eating hardcore junk food, but now that my Sour Patch Kids have ran out, I have to go back to, doing my normal thing.
We are going to revisit this, folks, in about a month, and we will see if Casey is fully off the wagon.
People call me daddy, just saying.
In my bits box, at my house, we are fully into spooky season.
Oh, yeah.
Pumpkins have been purchased for carving. and models have been bought for
Well,
spookiness.
there you go.
And so
Check those out on the Twitch or Twitter.
Check them out on X.
Yes.
And look at the Whip Wednesday that me and the homie Valerie did at the house. What we have done is we are enamored with the game Don't Look Back by Blacksite Studios.
Is that what they're for?
That's what they're for. It is the 80s slasher horror game, and it is great. And we've been having so much fun with it. We've played it many times. Sometimes the killer murders us terribly, and sometimes he murders us less terribly. We've only won once.
Just like, I'm going to kill you softly.
And we've got some, we bought specifically for spooky season a couple of their expansions, of their killer expansions, which come in a VHS case. They're resin models, and they are not great.
I'm going to be honest.
I've got to say.
I thought you were just trying to expand your AOS Night Haunt range with some of those models.
No. Those are Don't Look Back officials. What's
Cool.
neat, though, is when you buy one of these killer expansions, it comes with little odds and ends. It comes with missions, essentially, and things like that to play the game with. And all of the stuff in the game can be played like all together. You can just everything you get just tacks on, right? It's all like DLC. You're familiar with the DLC these days.
Yeah.
And but we've been having a lot of fun with that. It's the homie Valerie's only third or fourth painting foray.
She's getting good.
Yeah, well, so
She's good as you.
yeah, well, we were talking about that. Most of the time, anything that a person does rises to the level of its environment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like-
big fish, little pond. Or
Well-
little big. Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, really.
Yeah, she
That's
outgrew her
diff-
pond.
Well, no, that's a different kind of thing.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if you hung around with a whole lot of really good golfers and
Okay.
you wanted to play golf, you would pretty quickly rise to a level to be able to just get around with them. Or if you were into playing basketball and you always, let's make it a little more relatable. If you were into playing basketball and you went and played with some pickup groups, it would just be, here we are. But if you found
Yeah.
a group that they always kind of played full court 5-on-5 with some rules, then you would get to where you can play full court 5-on-5 with rules.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with mini painting. If the minis
Rule
around
of
you,
specificity.
well, it's just what I said. That
No, it's the rule of specificity.
okay.
The stimulus you put in and the stimulus that affects you creates what you are.
Yeah, I suppose so. My point is, if you're in a house with some painted models and they look good,
Yeah.
then the models that you paint are probably going to look good.
Well, I wouldn't say they look good.
If you're in a place where the models look like they got dropped in the mud,
Yeah, you go.
then then you're gonna probably paint models that look like they were dropped in the mud.
Yeah.
So hers are turning out quite good because, and like I say, I attribute that to the standard being on display constantly. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest painter in the world, but
Yeah, and you have lots of people coming and going and seeing your minis, so they have to look good.
yeah. I mean, mine are on display all the time. Like I've been thinking about getting one of those carry case things.
You do. You need one of those.
I do need one, and I was thinking, I mean, I'm not going to let them live in there.
Fair.
They got to be in the case on display in the game room. Speaking of the game room, this is Bitsbox as well. We've talked about making your own game space and best tips for that. Go check our pod out on that probably 2 months ago. But we painted that entire thing flat black, like with nice paint, so it doesn't look like a murder room. But the reason we did is we were taking pictures of these models in terrain for Don't Look Back, and we were finding that the models looked incredible, but the background looked terrible. Because you've been to my place, you've seen the game room, there's like 800 watts of light above the table. So you could see the table great. The rest of the room, in its light tan color that it was, with white ceiling, looked a little dentist office.
Yeah.
And so it does not any longer. Now
A little
it's
old school.
black as it can be, black as night.
Really?
Like walk into the wall with the lights off dark. All the way. Ceiling too. And I think it's going to make for great looking pictures of the tabletop. And it just feels a little more 40K, doesn't it?
Little grimdark.
A little bit.
Little grimdark game room.
I've begun building my Chaos Land Raider.
Yeah.
That's a kit from another time.
That's what I like to hear.
That's a kit from another time.
Really?
I like that it's got some engineering built in. It's got a little sliding door that it tells you not to glue, so you can slide it open and close and see the inside. And then it's also got the assault ramp that's like this 2-part thing, where the bottom opens and the top is tethered to it. Mm-hmm. And I got all that built where it functions, which is nice. I don't think that I'm going to paint the inside, though. I'm probably just going to glue the doors shut, not the front door. I will leave the front door openable and closable, but as far as the seats and the little gear station and stuff,
it's always a disappointment when you think about it. Like, who does that, and who does? If you play, I mean, obviously you're going to play.
Well,
nobody's going to see it, but you want people to see it if you did.
Well, I'm going to go a step further though, because I don't know. Unless you were going to cut the thing in half and do like some sort of cross section, it doesn't make any sense because
it's like a bandsaw.
Yeah, there's no way to see it from the top, and there's not a good way to view it from the side. And even if you look down the assault ramp, I don't know how you're ever going to get any light in there.
Yeah.
I guess you get some super tiny LEDs, but then where are you going to put the batteries that don't obstruct the interior detail? It's not a model ship that you can take the deck off of and look at, because the whole top of the thing, where it could be made removable, it does. Even once you take it off, there's another chunk of top that obscures the view of the top. So it's not like you can give it a lid, and at least not very easily. And even if you did give it a lid, the tracks just stop on the top of it, where the cap piece covers and makes, the part that the tracks, air quotes, run through. So even if you did all that, you would take the lid off, and then you would just see a bunch of unfinished looking stuff and a painted interior. So it's a really neat idea, and it definitely makes you feel like you bought something. It makes for a more fun build as well. But it's a bit of a shame that you kind of can't use it.
Yeah.
They did better with the big Knights, where the heads have got these cockpits, and then you take the top of the head off, and then you can see in there. I think that,
or maybe the Votan models. They got those Hecaton Land Raiders with the removable top canopies.
Yeah, and I've never seen the inside of those. I wonder if they've got seats and stuff inside.
Yeah, they got seats, they got dials, they got all kinds of stuff.
Well, that's in the
there.
cockpit. I'm talking about like back in the troop area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because see that it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. I don't know, Casey, but that's what I've done in the hobby lately. How about you? You got anything else?
Well, that's about it for me, really. Tried to go to Games Workshop store in Nashville, by the way.
Yeah, how'd that go?
They were closed for some weird reason. Had to sign up and everything.
Ain't no telling.
I know, right? I was so disappointed. Wanted to buy free mini. But that's about it for my bits box.
Close it. We're talking about Christmas boxes today. We're giving you a little shopping guide. We're giving you a little talk about what we think of them. And, last year we discussed this at length, and we came up with the idea that these are for people starting new armies or people that have already dabbled in armies.
Yes.
If you've already got an army of one of these, I don't think it's very helpful, with a couple exceptions. So I've got the Warcom article here, and we're just going to run down it, I think.
Yeah, some of them look pretty good.
Do you have them all memorized? Do you got them on your phone?
I've got the last year's if you want.
You've got last year's. Give us a rundown of what was last year.
Last year we had quite a few things. Let me pull that out for you. We're just sticking to 40K, because why would we stick to anything else?
Yeah, we're not doing Age of Sigmar right now.
We had the Spearhead Force for the Space Marines. We had the Defenders of the Ancestors for the Leagues of Votan.
Oh, yeah, that came with like every Votan unit that exists, it felt like.
Yeah. The Beast Snega Stampede, which every Beast Snega orc pretty much in one whole box.
Okay, so that one right there is an example of one that we'll come to in this. That one I thought was good even if you have an orc army.
Mm-hmm.
Because not everybody had like that whole, let's call it like subchapter of orcs.
Yeah, and some of the characters are still wrecking face to this day. Cadian Defense Force, featuring that new Rogel Dorn that came out last year.
Yeah, that was good. That
was dope. It was pretty dope.
What'd that come with, 2 tanks?
Yeah, 2 tanks.
Yeah, that's good, see.
The Onslaught Swarm for the Tyranids at the Flyrants and the Norn Emissary.
Yeah, that one was like if you had already bought the Leviathan box and you got that, you would have a good
army
looking,
with this.
Yeah, you'd have a good looking smattering of stuff.
Yeah, because this was just 2 characters and basically all infantry. Now you've got, like, if you get the Leviathan, then you get the more intermediary stuff.
Yeah.
And then we had the Exalted of the Red Angel, which was obviously Angron and his boys.
Now that one is my example of a starter box.
It definitely is.
That one is like, I'm interested in World Eaters, and here's my World Eaters stuff. And then you go buy the extra stuff.
Very, very elite sort of Custodes type of thing. You know, the higher point costing stuff. You get more bang for your buck. And if you were a new guy, you probably got this, and then you're still winning, even if you're like just starting out. You know. Well,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's get on to the 24 ones. The first one we've got is the Penitent Crusader Host.
Ooh, I saw that, and that one looks good.
I'm not crazy about this one.
Really?
So this one, to me, falls into that. It's the type of box that we sometimes get, which is extra stuff. Like, if you already have the big hitters of an army, this is your box of extra stuff. And it's Sisters of Battle, and it's got their new, I forget what this person is. It's almost like their cult leader thing.
Ministorum Priest?
Yeah, it's all about, because I think that guy's, yeah, there's a couple of new characters, and then it's just a bunch of Repentia.
Yeah, it's very, how do I put this? It's nothing new, but it is a lot of stuff that if you were playing Army of Sisters, this would be kind of the meat and potatoes, you know? The lore heads would love it. You're not getting your Celestine, but you're still getting your Repentia. You're still getting your, I don't want to call them like mechs, the rhinos, the mortifiers, all that stuff that like makes you think, oh, that's a Sisters army. That's what you get.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anytime that the kit comes with 2 rhinos, I feel like you're really supplementing stuff you've already got.
Right.
Next, because that one, not terribly exciting. The Necrons have got a box.
Right.
When was the last time they had a box?
Gosh, probably 9th.
Yeah, it would have been
Maybe.
what was that thing called?
Oh, I didn't even know.
The
one where they were fighting the Space Marines,
yeah.
right? The Indominus box.
The Indominus box. Yeah, that's right. And this is probably a good pairing with that. So
Hypercrypt Legion.
Hypercrypt Legion. This is another one that is a little bit extra stuff, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
Look. This party starts and stops with the fact that it comes with a Void Dragon.
Yeah. Get a whole freaking Catan shard in one box.
Yep. That's what you pay to see. Everything else is extra. Again, this is a little one of those kind of things where it's just...
You get that new Overlord, though. That Overlord looks sweet.
Oh, wait. Does this come with a monolith? No, it does not.
What are you talking about?
I'm reading here. Da-da-da.
We get the Void Dragon, the Overlord, some boys, some warriors, you know. Then you get the Lich Guard, which I think is like, ooh, man. You had my interest, and now you have my attention.
Yeah. See, this is going to be your extra stuff and a Void Dragon.
Yeah.
You've already got to have your 60 Necron warriors. You've already got to have your arcs. You've already got to have your monoliths and things like that, right?
There's one right behind you.
Yeah. But then you get that, and it's like, oh, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
There's a Tau box.
There's a Tau box.
Well,
shouldn't we save that one for last?
Oh, I thought we covered it.
Oh, no.
So there's a Tau box. All right. And then the Inner Circle Task.
I'm not even going to talk about it. For representation, we're going to mention the Tau box.
People are mad at the Tau box because there's only like 12 models in the thing. And look.
Yeah. It's very Grey Knight style, you know. Play those big heavy elites that cost lots of points and do a little bit more damage.
Well, it's a suits box, and
basically,
yeah, that's fine. I don't know what these suits are because they're just Gundams. I mean, it's a Gundam.
You get a Riptide, a Ghost Keel, Commander, and then you get a broadside battlesuit.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy hitting. I know, at least from the broadside point of view, the Riptides are pretty okay. I know they used to wreck people up back in the day. But yeah, it's Tau.
Those sound like words that you said, and I'll take your word that those are units. I don't know who this box is for, because I don't know any Tau players that didn't start and end with battlesuits.
Right? You've already got a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're going Kroot.
Yeah, and then you want the Kroot box from whenever that was.
Exactly.
Which I imagine those are still in stock, because the Tau folks do not seem interested in those boys.
You know what? I actually had an old friend hit me up this weekend. I forgot to tell you, in my bits box. Asked me a couple of questions about wanting to get into 40K. Asked me for a bunch of advice and some lore information. And he asked me, what about this or what about that? Which faction should I choose? And I was like, here's one that's good. Yes, that one's good. And then he said, well, what about Tau?
You hung up the phone.
And I immediately said, no. So, but I thought that was funny.
All right. Now, this is my favorite one.
Here we go, boy.
This is my favorite one.
It's the boy. The first.
The Inner Circle Task Force. The Dark Angels box that gives you
the drip.
All the stuff.
All the stuff with drip.
Man, this is good stuff.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Holy cow, there's a Terminator chaplain in there?
First of all, you get a Primarch.
Yeah.
Because if you want to start an army, you got to have your Primarch.
Bet.
And then you get all the new hotness Terminators that just came out.
Deathwing Terminators looks to be about 10.
And then you get these new purple robe dudes, the Inner Circle guys, that go with all the Dark Angel stuff. So they're the new units.
Love tripping.
Now, some of you who I fundamentally don't think understand the hobby, 40K or miniature gaming, are going to say, well, those guys aren't as good as other regular Space Marine units of the same cost and form factor. Shut up, nerd. It's not what this is about.
This is about love.
This is about love. This is about I want to get a new army. I want to get some good guys, air quotes because it's 40K. I want to have some good Space Marines to fight against my Black Legion. I'm interested in painting the color green and beige. Right? This is the box you buy. Step 1. Because the rest of the kits, you're going to get whatever you want out of the entire Space Marine range. This box doesn't bother your mind with any of that, because who knows? You may have a whole bunch of Space Marines that you already intend to reprime and paint green. No, man, this is the box right here.
It's well-rounded. It's for the new people. It's for the old heads. You get a Primarch.
You could have a whole entire Space Marine army, and then buy this, have no repeats of anything,
good.
and then all you need to do is build and paint this, and paint all the guys you want to be Dark Angels the right colors.
You've won.
And you are down the road. This is the best box by far, and I don't think it lasts long on the shelves.
You get all the Deathwing Terminators.
Talk to me about the one guy with the skull face.
Dude, Terminator Chaplain was one of the most recent releases and updates. I love the Terminator Chaplain.
At first glance, I thought that he was that new guy for the Blood Angels. What's his name?
Oh, Lamartes?
Yeah, I thought he was Lamartes.
Well, Lamartes is a chaplain.
Is he really?
Yes, he is a...
So the skull face is a chaplain thing, not a Psycho Lamartes thing.
Nope. Lamartes is a chaplain that fell to the Black Rage.
I see.
And the chaplain in Terminator armor has such a unique look. It belongs with the Dark Angels faux show. I want one. I have been wanting one, and I would paint up an old one if I could just to run it, because all the Terminator chaplains in the past look so freaking good.
Well, let me tell you. One of my favorite colors to paint is green. I feel that it goes from, dark forest green up to, orc shiny, very easy. And I think the Dark Angels would be my army of choice if I were going to have an Imperium army. I'm not going to do it, but if I were, then this Christmas I would be asking for the Inner Circle Task Force.
Exactly. And then you've also got the lore appeal to it, too. If you're a lore
Well,
head.
see, my thing, though, about Dark Angels, the reason why I like them so much is they have so many named characters. And I love named characters. You guys saw in part 1, I was pro Primarchs and named characters all the time. That's the way I like it. I want more named characters. Now, the homie Austin, he doesn't want named characters.
Ruin the meta.
Yeah. Mess up the story. All that. But I could just go nuts painting one-off characters for Dark Angels for months.
I would even say that if I got this box, I would 3D print me like little nameplates to put on the bases for all of these. Just because I freaking love the individualism of it.
Yeah. Someday when we start a Patreon, we'll have to do that for our people, and then they can never see our armies fight against each other in any kind of way that would represent them. But they'll know or assume that it happened. Finally, we got a weird one.
Weird one?
Yeah, I think this is the last one that we've got here. It occurs to me those Age of Sigmar boxes last year that we did fill more time on this segment.
They did.
It's okay. We went long in the bits box. The Valor Strike Lance. Is that right? It's Imperial Knights.
Ooh, yeah, the Knight box. Yeah, that Knight box. Ooh, didn't expect them to do that.
So I got questions here. All right. These boxes tend to be like $200, probably $230. It seems to be their price point for a box these days. A Knight is how much? $160, something like that, for the new plastic Knight kits.
I'll Google it.
I wonder if this is about to be a $300 box, or if they're really giving you a discount.
Like it's an exception, or it's, maybe it's like a way of saying we're going to jump prices up.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like that we're probably right around $200 in individual kits for most of these. Probably Inner Circle Task Force is a bit of a bargain, I would suspect, because I know Lionel Johnson's 80 by himself, and then you do 80 times 5, maybe 6 is, what's that? $260 some odd dollars. But then you get down here, and what you've got is a big knight and 4 little knights.
Knight Paladin is $179.
Okay, so $179. So that only leaves, $50 for the other 4. So I think what we're getting now, I believe these armigers little,
are generally like $95, $100.
Well, and I was going to say, I think they come 2 to a box, right?
Yes.
And I think
so. It's like $200 more.
I think they're $120 a box. I feel like. Are you on Warhammer.com looking it up?
I am right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
$94.50.
$94.50. Okay, so $100. Yeah.
2 armigers.
So then if there were no discount on it, it'd be a $300 box. So if this comes in at the $230 like the rest of the boxes, then this is a really good deal.
It kind of is, yeah.
Because
you're getting like half price.
For $50 more than just the big knight, you're getting the 4 armigers, which, what's that? 100 and there's something like $100 value. Just straight up. Keep that long wheelbase 10 in your wallet. Who's it for, though?
So, honestly, I think it's more for the people who want to get into 40K or the ones who want to get into Knights. So that they can, I'm just going to try Knights.
I'm going to try Knights because it's less models and less to paint. Oh, wait, I've got this giant thing to paint now. I want to talk about that for a minute.
Knights are fun.
I know people that say, if I ever got any 40K, I'd get Knights because I don't want to paint 100 things. Now, first of all,
you're wrong.
These are people that are already into miniatures games. And the one guy in particular I know, I quite like this guy, but he hasn't painted 100 things in his life. He's not going to paint 100 things. Also, I'm not sure he's going to paint 5 or 6 things. So, the whole point seems moot to me. I don't think there's anything worse looking in the hobby. Just 40K. There's worse looking things in miniature gaming, but
you're saving $138 on that box.
That's pretty good. Provided it's not $280. Right? If they stick $300 on it, then I think you're probably better off buying 2 big knights and really getting your you know, you could really go off, is what I'm trying to say. Anyhow, back to my point. But I don't think there's anything worse looking in 40K on the table than a poorly painted or lazily painted knight.
Why is that, Shane?
Because they're too big. I feel this way about tanks and stuff too.
You've seen my Gorkanaut.
When people do a tank or something and it's a very low effort job, like they just took whatever their recipe is for their 3 colors and some basing material on their troops, and they apply it to their vehicles, they look terrible in my opinion. And the knights look so bad. So I always think I see it often where people think I'll get knights so I can play 40K so that I don't have much to paint. And it's like, well, all you're going to end up with is some really bad looking stuff that you cannot hide. And also, as far as the game plays, you're not going to do any winning because they're very hard to win with, knights. You can't get enough of them on the table to stand on enough places to score any points.
Yeah, so you just got to obliterate the enemy.
Yeah, which is easier said than done when they can hide behind.
At this point, everyone knows how to fight knights now.
Yeah, everybody knows how to fight knights. The only people that don't know how to fight knights are these people that I'm talking about who take a Space Marine army with no Space Marines. Where it's just oops all tanks.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you know what? You guys get what you deserve when the knights pop you every turn. You bunch of dorks. Anyway. Yeah, so this is me once again saying paint your stuff and learn to like it or else.
I've often thought about what if I just got like a knight's, like not even a knight, just a shoulder pad or something, just tried it out my freehand.
I mean, that'd be fun.
Be fun.
The part that I would like to try on a knight is the sponging up those colors from black,
definitely,
and getting that real depth of color. Yeah, getting that depth of color that they really require because they're just so big. And the sponging, you have to have that little tiny stippling because otherwise you end up with these impossibly smooth panels. Like if you could imagine a knight at scale, however tall we decided they were, and you imagine if you stood by it and there was not one solitary blemish or piece of undulation or anything on those panels, it would look so unreal. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think you got to sponge stipple your knights to really get that gradient coming off the edges. They look fine with airbrush, but I find that airbrush, you could do an airbrush pass and then stipple too with the sponging, but the airbrush is like too smooth.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's a guy in our community named Harold. He's a great player. Love the guy. Super awesome guy. He's got this amazingly painted knight army, and I can never not mention his knight army if we talk about knights, because man, his stuff looks great and wins awards every single time we're at a tournament. Yeah,
his knights do look good, and I'm not sure if his are sponged. I think they might be, though.
Ooh, that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, I'll have to ask the homie Harold. I think he might. I want to say he's getting out of knights though and getting a proper army because he's found that sometimes it's just hard to be enough places at once.
Really?
Yeah.
If you're listening, all you guys go ahead, call Harold and check and see if he's okay.
Yeah, ask Harold if he sponged his knights or airbrush them or what, because his do look good.
Ask if he wants to sell them to me.
Yeah, ask how much he would like for that painted knight army. It will be expensive.
So Shane.
Casey.
Where are we at?
We're all out of time.
We're all out of time?
That's been us, folks. We gave you our Orctober segment, and that will, for this month, supersede, as it should, the exclusive Space Marine segment.
Yep, the Space Marine segment for this week.
No. That's it. We don't have one. We did orc stuff instead.
Oh, you're right. Because
Space Marine players got to wait their turn. Kick rocks. Say the line. Get us out of here.
Stay fanatical, folks.